Next thing that we want to do is we want to design the shopping cart model. So for that, what we will do is when we click on here, we need to display them all the products in our shopping cart. So we'll close this application. I'll close all the open tabs. We'll go to Solution Explorer, Controller. Let's add the new controller, which will be empty for the cart controller. So right here, we'll name this as cart controller. And let's add this. First thing that we'll need here is the application DB context. So we'll say private read only. We have the application DB context. Let me call this _DB, and we'll have the constructor with application DB context as DB _DB is equal to DB. Now what I want to do is I want to create a view model for the shopping cart page. In this page, we want to display list of all the products in the shopping cart. So right here, let's work on the index action method. We need to retrieve all of the items that we have in our session. So we'll add a list for shopping cart, and let me call this shopping cart list. We'll make it as new list of shopping cart, and then we will check for our session. So we'll say HTTP context.session. In there we have the get method on the type of session, which is an IEnumerable of shopping cart. And then here we need to pass the name, which is WC for web constants.session cart. If this is not null, we'll copy this. And we want to make sure that count is greater than 0. So right here, we'll say .count. That should be greater than 0. Here we have an error. Let me see what it is. The get method, it's not accessible. Let me do control dot here. We just need the reference of rocky.utility because in there we have the extension method. Great, so here this means that session exists and we can retrieve all of the products and display them. So we'll say shopping cart list is equal to http context.session.get, and we need to mention the type here, which is IEnumerable of shopping cart. Then we need to write the name here, which is the key, which is web constant.session cart. So we retrieve the session inside this shopping cart list. In here you need to convert it from an IEnumerable to a list, because that's what we have here. So you can do .toList here, or right here you can just convert this to list when you retrieve it. That should resolve the error. Then what I want to do is I want to find out all of the distinct products in the cart. So for that we can use projections, and that we can do outside of the if condition. Right here I'll add another list of integer which will have all the product IDs. So I'll say prod in cart is equal to, we'll use the shopping cart list. On that we'll use .select. Select can be used for projections, and here you can define what columns you want to select. I just want to select I.product ID. Once you select that, we'll convert this to a list, and perfect. We now have all of the products in the shopping cart. Once you have list of all the product IDs, we can retrieve product. So we'll create a list or an IEnumerable for product, and we'll call this product list is equal to, we will go to our database, so _db.product. We have the where condition here, and we'll say u goes to u dot. Now we want all of the product where ID matches to the list prod in cart. So for that, rather than going inside u, we'll just say prod in cart dot. We have contains in there, and we'll pass u.id. This acts as an in clause in a SQL. So it will retrieve all of the products where ID matches any ID inside the prod in cart list. That's exactly what we want, and this looks good. Once you have the product list, we can return the product list to our view, and we can display all of the products in our shopping cart. So with this in place, our getAction method is looking good for index of shopping cart. In the next video, let's design our shopping cart.